The reason why it is so impressive when a team makes it to the Super Bowl or a team even repeats in the Super Bowl is because once you make one Super Bowl run, it appears as though each and every team in the entire NFL is going to do their absolute best to poach your core pieces in order to bring a winning culture over to their roster as well. If you just look at the 2019 San Francisco 49ers, literally after making it to the Super Bowl in 2019, they traded away DeForest Buckner. They eventually moved on from Quan Alexander. Hell, even the Miami Dolphins thought that their running back Matt Breida would be a solid piece for their rushing attack moving forward. And boy, were they wrong. When the Tampa Bay Buccaneers entered free agency this year, we thought that there was no way that they would be able to keep all of their core pieces. You look at a wide receiver like Chris Godwin, who was drafted in the 3rd round of the NFL draft. As soon as he hits free agency, after 2 really good years of breakout wide receiver play, you'd think that, okay, no matter what, Chris Godwin is going to do whatever it takes to get himself a nice, stable, maximum contract. Well, Chris Godwin comes out and says, hey, I'm actually okay playing under the franchise tag. And lo and behold, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers use their franchise tag on Chris Godwin, which makes us begin to think, okay, that must mean Levante David or Shaq Barrett is definitely out the door. Levante David was seen as probably the best linebacker that could have been had this entire free agency. Bear in mind that Levante David played through his entire 2015 contract extension. That's not something you see in the NFL very often. And Jason Light somehow, someway was able to get Levante to come back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on a 2-year contract extension worth $25 million with $20 million guaranteed. That's despite Levante David saying that he is trying to cash out. Now that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are able to keep their inside linebacker core that contains Levante David and Devin White, well, how on earth are they going to keep Shaq Barrett? Will they be able to keep Antonio Brown? And will they make any moves to improve their already pretty stellar unit? So what's going on, guys? Your boy Mike here. And before we get to the content, I wanted to shout out our latest members of Mike Mafia. Shout out to Arthur McLean, Limo Man 412, and Jamie Beardsley for joining as Mike Mafia members. Now that we got all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? So far in NFL free agency, it appears as though, and NFL free agency is still very young, it seems as though it's all been about the New England Patriots and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just the other day, last week, we announced that, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers announced that they signed Tom Brady to a contract extension, where Tom Brady once again is taking a gigantic pay cut. Well, the New England Patriots also decided to sign their quarterback for this upcoming year when they agreed to a $14 million contract extension with Cam Newton. Now, today we found out how both of these teams are trying to improve themselves, and honestly, it would be really nice to see a storyline where these two teams eventually meet in the Super Bowl, but that's a long way from now. That's a fairly big long shot, especially after what the Patriots did this past year. But judging based off the moves that they've made so far and the draft position that they are in, and the fact that they are getting several of their most important players back on the defensive side of the ball, I will never be able to count out Bill Belichick. So they signed Cam Newton to a 1-year, $14 million contract, which is way below market value, especially once you consider Taysom Hill's brand new deal. And today we got a couple of moves that are definitely going to change the landscape of the NFL. So let's start with the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots are famous for the fact that they do not overpay players. As a matter of fact, they never are the type of team that make big splashes in free agency. Rather, they're the type of team that will trade a 7th round pick for a former star player that apparently quote unquote fell off and try to employ him for fairly cheap labor considering how good he once was. And it appears as though the New England Patriots decided to break that mold today so they could find their brand new tight end of the future, Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith reached an agreement with the New England Patriots on a 4-year, $50 million deal that includes $31.25 million fully guaranteed. Why was Jonnu so coveted by the Patriots? Well, it's because of his ability to, one, be a remarkable pass catcher, and two, that Jonnu Smith was extremely versatile in the way the Titans used him. As a matter of fact, there were some plays where the Tennessee Titans used Jonnu Smith as a running back. Combine that with the fact that the New England Patriots had the lowest pass catching tight end production in the NFL over the past 2 years, and a lot of this makes a lot of sense. They also signed a nose tackle, Devon Godchow, who was the Miami Dolphins nose tackle, on a 2-year deal with $9 million guaranteed for $16 million total. But it appears as though in this early stage of free agency, the New England Patriots have been significantly more active than they were in years past. As a matter of fact, as I'm recording this video, we got an update from Ian Rappaport that the New England Patriots are making a huge push for Baltimore Ravens pass rusher Matthew Judon, and they've already been linked to wide receiver Curtis Samuel already. If they were to get both of these pieces, this would be probably the most active the Patriots have been in free agency in years. And you might be wondering why they're doing this and how they're doing this. Well, they got Cam Newton to take a huge pay cut, and clearly they had holes all over the team, so it looks like Belichick is choosing to break his tradition here. Now, if you look at what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are doing, it's a little bit more impressive in my opinion, because when you get a player like Shaq Barrett, a player who originally emerged in the NFL as an undrafted free agent in 2014, who was franchise tagged last year, who said multiple times that he wanted to break the bank this summer, well, the fact that the Buccaneers were able to retain his services today on a 4-year contract extension worth $72 million is just absolute wizardry by their general manager, Jason Light. And the fact that they were able to get Shaq Barrett for a base salary of $17 million a year is absolutely unbelievable. But here's what's the most remarkable part of this big re-signing by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Shaq Barrett currently has a $5.6 million cap hit in 2021, which pretty much signals to the entire NFL that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers aren't done wheeling and dealing yet. Now they're going to prioritize re-signing their other key free agents like Ndamukong Suh, Rob Gronkowski, and probably the very last person on that list is going to be Antonio Brown, which I really don't know where he currently stands on the free agent totem pole. I don't know if he plans to leave Tampa Bay to go somewhere else to make some more money, considering how much he was originally going to earn with the Oakland Raiders had he had stayed there, or if he's going to return to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on a huge pay cut and to take a lesser role just to continue being put in a position to hopefully win more Super Bowls. But all I could say is this has been some absolute salary cap wizardry by the general manager of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they have a lot to be excited about moving forward. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think about free agency so far, or if there's any other free agency moves that you'd like me to cover. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.